Well, another series, man, that's probably giving us more of a surprise than we expected. Clippers Mavs tied 1-1. And honestly, the Mavs should be up 2-0, but we all know what happened. KP got ejected after two horrible techs in game one, and obviously you saw that was a big thing. KP getting ejected. As soon as he got ejected, the Clippers went on a run and they won the game. The thing is with the Clippers, man, the Mavericks have dominated this series. Honestly, 6 of the 8 quarters so far, the Mavs have absolutely been the better team. And I was completely wrong about this series when I said Luka would struggle, and he would struggle bad, right? Come on, he's elevated his game in the playoffs. He's outplaying Paul George right now. I'll get to that in a second. I'll say this, man, Luka hasn't struggled besides the first 4 minutes of game one, and he's just been firing on all cylinders himself. And I thought that was the only chance the Mavericks would have if Luka would just go off, you know what I mean? And he's done that. Mavs have a chance, Now, I'm really surprised because I know the Mavs have the most efficient offense in NBA history, right? But I just expected the Clippers defense to be absolutely shut down versus this offense, Just because, obviously the Clippers are vying for a championship this year. Dallas, this is their guys' first real playoff run, you know what I mean? First time in the playoffs, And I just thought Clippers would just come out and just take care of business for the most part, with no real problems. But obviously they got problems, and I'm worried because, even if Patrick Beverley was there, Patrick Beverley didn't play game 2, but I'm worried because even when Patrick Beverley was out there, Luka scored 40 in game 1. So it's like, it doesn't matter, They might have to just put PG or Kawhi on him for an extended period of time, but they're putting Patrick Beverley on him. They're putting Marcus Morris on him a lot. And obviously it's not working out for him. And the thing about game 2, man, is that Luka was in deep foul trouble all the way throughout, And he only played, 9 minutes in the second half. He played 9 minutes in the second half. And the Mavericks were still able to come out with that win. He scored 6 points in the second half. Now on to Paul George, man. So in the video, I was talking about my dark horse teams. I was talking about the Mavericks and how could they potentially go on a deep playoff run, right? Surprising playoff run. And I knew they would end up playing the Clippers at one point or another. So talking about that series for a little bit, I was like, okay, if Luka can outplay Paul George, maybe not outplay Kawhi because that's probably not going to happen, but he's kind of outplaying Kawhi too. Even though Kawhi's playing great, but he's not shooting too well from 3, but he's still playing great. I said that Luka must be better than Paul George in this series for Dallas to even have a shot. And what is he doing right now? Thoroughly outplaying Paul George. Luka's averaging 35 and 8 assists on 55% shooting and 46% from 3 in the first 2 games. Compared to Paul George, 20 points, 2 assists per game, 36% shooting from the field, and like 20-something and 28% from 3. So, playoff P back in full form, man. What a fraud he is, man. I had a feeling this would happen, but I didn't think it would be this bad. What was PG? 4 for 17 last night. It was bad, man. He was in foul trouble too, but no excuse, man. He had 0 points in the first half. See, that was my problem with the Clippers. One of my few problems with the Clippers. I think they have the least amount of problems out of any of the contenders. One of my problems was Paul George and his lack of performing in big moments. And in the playoffs, every game's a big moment. Every game's a big game, obviously, right? And he hasn't really showed up so far. Even game 1 wasn't too pretty for him, But if Paul George is going to continue to play like playoff P, like he wants to call himself, horrible nickname, but if he wants to play like playoff P, he's not going to be in the playoffs too much longer. But does Dallas have a shot in this series? Yes, they do have a real shot in this series. I'll still say Clippers in 6, just for the fact that this is Dallas's first playoff run. Comparative to the Clippers, who have championship experience, who have, you know, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Hopefully Paul George doesn't play like playoff P and plays like Paul George, you know what I mean? And hopefully the Clippers just handle their business, man. The Lakers got to handle their business too. Bucks got to handle their business, but Clippers got to worry about their own business right now, because this is dangerous, man. They cannot let this Dallas offense continue to stay hot. And another thing about Game 2 I forgot to mention is, while Luka was out, man, Seth Curry and Trey Burke just went nuts. You know, they combined for 31 points, and they were just blowing by every Clippers defender they saw, you know. That really concerns me too, considering the Clippers are a top 4 defensive team in the league, you know. So Clippers got to shore that up, man. I think Clippers will win in 6, but they cannot afford to sleep on the Mavericks, man. And they have to make it tougher for Dallas, man. They have to make Tim Hardaway handle the ball more. They have to make Seth Curry handle the ball more. You know, get the ball out of Luka's hands as much as possible, because when it's in his hands, he's either scoring or he's assisting, you know. And he's just that effective, man. You just got to limit him as much as possible. But, yeah, I'll still go with Clippers in 6, man.